He was asked about his favorite women's basketball player. Listen to this.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Paige Bueckers?
No. She's okay. I didn't see her playing in the women's NBA, so.
She just got drafted.
#1.
Dallas.
He used to play in Dallas, which is where Paige Bueckers plays.
A reputable basketball publication, Bleacher Report, stating that Paige Bueckers led the nation in assists twice in her college career. She has been top 15 once. She was 63rd last year when she led the nation assists. Georgia Amor, who had more assists than Paige, did not lead the nation assists as well. It is literally the media just lying. They are literally just lying.
I thought Paige Bueckers was a star. I thought Paige Bueckers was the secondary great white hope. It didn't matter who Caitlin Clark was playing, and the game would be headline news. That is what's missing in women's college basketball this season.
Just 2 minutes ago, Luka Doncic stunned the basketball world, and the message couldn't be clearer. Caitlin Clark is the face of women's basketball. When asked about his favorite women's player, Luka didn't hesitate. He said Caitlin Clark.
Let's get to Luka Doncic, who of course plays for the Lakers now after having been traded. Who's your favorite women's basketball player? Caitlin Clark. You don't like Paige Bueckers? Quote, shrugs. She's okay. Haven't seen her play in the WNBA, so, and when he sees her play in the WNBA, he won't be that impressed either.
And brutally shrugged off Paige Bueckers like she was an afterthought.
In her final year at Virginia Tech, she averaged 6.8 assists per game and then led the nation.
Not only is it eradicating Caitlin Clark, it's eradicating Serena Sundell. Like if you look at Paige Bueckers' seasons, or if you look at last season, Serena Sundell averaged 0.4 assists more than Georgia Amor, but nearly 3 assists more than Paige Bueckers.
No political answers, no fake hype, just raw, honest truth. In a world where the media keeps trying to force false comparisons, Luka laid it all out. Caitlin Clark isn't just ahead, she's in a league of her own.
When it comes to motion, when it comes to moving the needle, we all know the one that does that in women's sports, and that is Caitlin Clark. She continues to set ridiculous numbers all over the place.
If you believe Caitlin Clark is the real game changer, smash that like button and drop CC 100% in the comments right now. Let's show the world who's really moving the needle. When Luka Doncic was asked about his favorite women's basketball player, he didn't hesitate. No long pause, no carefully worded answer. Just one name, Caitlin Clark.
Who's your favorite women's basketball player?
Caitlin Clark.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Paige Bueckers?
No. She's okay.
And when the reporter tried to slip Paige Bueckers into the conversation, Luka's reaction spoke volumes. He gave a half-hearted shrug and simply said, she's okay. No excitement, no endorsement, nothing. And then he hit them with the real dagger. He admitted he hadn't even seen Paige play in the WNBA. Because let's be honest, there's nothing to see yet. That one shrug from Luka Doncic wasn't just disrespect. It was a brutal reality check.
And this is from Bleacher Report, ranking the rookies by a WNBA expert. This is just lying.
Their season, she's been flirting with 4 assists. And this past season, she also led the nation in assists with 4.6 assists.
So Paige Bueckers led the nation in assists with 4.6 assists per game. She was 63rd. So when Caitlin Clark was still in college, and Caitlin was 2 entire assists ahead of second place. And Georgia Amor was 4th.
Not only do I not think Paige is going to move the needle, I don't think she's going to flutter it. I don't think it's going to vibrate slightly.
It exposed exactly what real basketball people already know. Paige Bueckers might have hype, but Caitlin Clark has impact. Talent recognizes talent. Luka didn't need ESPN narratives. He didn't need politically correct media spins. He just gave an honest answer. And that answer was a loud and clear Caitlin Clark.
Why hasn't Middle America given Paige Bueckers the Caitlin Clark treatment?
Paige Bueckers is woke as hell. She's going to come into the league and join the WNBA activism. She's probably not going to be embraced over that because we are sick of it.
While the media tries to manufacture some fake rivalry between Caitlin and Paige, Luka cut through the noise like a laser. In Luka's eyes, and in the eyes of millions of true fans, there is no rivalry. Caitlin Clark isn't just better. She's on a completely different level. When one of the biggest stars in men's basketball openly picks Caitlin over Paige, It's a massive slap in the face to every media outlet trying to pretend Paige belongs in the same conversation. And it proves one thing: the real ones know who's truly changing the game. While Luka Doncic was being brutally honest, the mainstream media has been busy spinning a completely different and, frankly, ridiculous narrative.
Basically, Wings GM conveys key difference in Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark's rookie season. He said the one thing when you talk about last season is that Paige won't have the benefit that Caitlin did. And this is nothing against Caitlin, but we had an Olympic break last year. So you got to see some players take a month-long break, essentially. And those rookies were coming off a grueling season in the collegiate game. They got a break and got to reset and finish strong. This draft class, which includes Paige, is not going to have that luxury. We don't have a big break where they can almost catch a second win and then push to the finish line in the second half of the season, he continued. So we have to watch this rookie class around the league about load management. It's not just our rookies. We're all going to be tuned in to load management, especially these rookies that played long into their collegiate season. I didn't really see any of the benefit that Caitlin Clark got coming into the season.
They're desperate to push Paige Bueckers as the next big thing, trying to force her into a rivalry with Caitlin Clark that just doesn't exist. And it's obvious why. Caitlin Clark has taken over women's basketball so completely that the old media playbook is falling apart, and they're scrambling to stay relevant. Look at how they lie about the stats.
2020-21 season, when she said Paige led the NCAA in assists, it was Aleta and Caitlin was third with 7.8 assists per game. Paige averaged 5, and I think she was 15th.
You've probably heard it. The media loves to scream that Paige led the nation in assists multiple times. But if you actually check the numbers, the truth is brutal. She didn't. Paige Bueckers has only been top 15 in assists once in her college career.
If you look at all these seasons, first season Paige was 15. The second season Paige played, Caitlin Clark led the NCAA in assists with 8 assists per game. Paige did not play in 22-23, and in 23-24, Caitlin Clark is 2.1 entire assists ahead of Georgia Amor, who she said led NCAA in assists.
Last year, she wasn't even close. She ranked 63rd. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark didn't just lead the nation. She blew everyone out of the water, averaging 2 more assists per game than the next best player. When Caitlin Clark passed, scored, or simply stepped onto the court, she dominated at a historic level. The media pretending Paige is somehow her equal is a flat-out lie, and fans are getting sick of it. But it doesn't stop there. They try to inflate Paige's college accomplishments and ignore her injuries and limited impact. They pretend she's this unstoppable force when, in reality, she hasn't even touched a WNBA court yet. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark didn't just step into the WNBA, she smashed through the door.
We want to see Caitlin Clark and we want to see Paige Bueckers.
Caitlin scored more points per game, but Paige was more efficient.
Paige Bueckers has had one of the best careers in the history of women's college basketball. On paper, you could make the case that Paige Bueckers has better college career than Caitlin Clark. But this is the world of television, where you're not judged based on your accomplishments, you're not judged based on your stats, you're judged based on your drawing power. And looking at these ratings for the women's tournament, it is abundantly clear Paige Bueckers might be a star, but she's not a draw.
These two were the topic of conversation. Who's the better player?
She's not nearly the player that Caitlin Clark is.
You know, she's been really disappointing this whole tournament.
We're not creating this rivalry. We're not saying they hate each other, but they are two of the best in the game right now.
Sold out arenas, record-breaking TV ratings, merchandise sales that broke every expectation. A trading card selling for $244,000, the highest in women's basketball history. Caitlin Clark didn't need media hype. She made the hype. The media's desperation is reaching embarrassing levels. They're trying to soften expectations for Paige before she even plays. They're claiming Paige won't get the Olympic break Caitlin supposedly had, as if Caitlin coasted into the WNBA fresh and rested. But if you know the truth, you know Caitlin finished a grueling NCAA season, led Iowa to a national championship game, dealt with nonstop pressure from the media, and then immediately jumped into the fever training camp. There was no break, no time off, no handouts. Caitlin Clark just showed up and outworked everyone.
So basically, we know Natalie Esquire, a serial hater when it comes to the Caitlin Clark fan base. She's pretty much a driving force behind a lot of the drama that take place in the media.
You have other people like Sabria Whitaker. I'm sorry. You have so many people out there, and people like this, the committee, which is, you know, a group of really, really strong women's basketball fans on Twitter. They have influence. Dawn Staley flew 2 members of the committee to South Carolina's opening game in Paris, okay?
So they're calling old guard WNBA fans the committee. These are the same people that is pushing race narratives. These are the same people that is bashing Caitlin Clark. These are the people she's talking about.
Paige, on the other hand, already has built-in excuses being lined up before she's even played a minute. That's the real story. Caitlin Clark faced impossible expectations and crushed them. Paige is being protected from the very beginning because deep down, the media knows she's not going to live up to the Caitlin Clark standard. And fans know it too. That's why Luka Doncic's simple shrug hurt so much. It wasn't mean. It wasn't calculated. It was just honest. Because no matter how much ESPN, Bleacher Report, or any other outlet tries to sell you a fairy tale, real basketball fans and real basketball legends know the truth.
I got to be with those women up close and personal. I was in practices. I was at shoot-arounds. I was in the locker room.
That's
I was doing
great experience, though.
So you was able to get a real close view of what it was like to be a WNBA player at that time.
Yeah, and it was like not glamorous at all. But I was a kid, so to me, I thought it was like the most amazing thing ever.
Right.
But when you have conversations with like Taj and stuff like that, they're like, that was a mess. It was ghetto. It was bad. It was a mess. Yeah. But we still talk about like how the league was like 6-7 years ago. We have like things like, I can't believe we was doing this. We was sharing rooms.
No, we was definitely sharing rooms. I was just telling Natalie and Tom, I was like, bro, we really was sharing rooms and you was talking in your sleep before games. Like you literally would know that. You was talking in your sleep.
You gotta leave room to get on FaceTime with their boo.
You gotta leave out the room.
Sitting in the lobby at midnight.
There is Caitlin Clark, and then there's everyone else. Let's get one thing straight. Caitlin Clark isn't just winning games. She's rewriting the blueprint for what it means to be a superstar in women's basketball. She hasn't just moved the needle, she snapped it off the machine. While the media fumbles around trying to manufacture a rivalry and pad Paige Bueckers' resume with fantasy stats and nostalgia, Caitlin has let her game do the talking. And what it's saying is loud. She entered the WNBA with more pressure on her shoulders than any rookie in league history. No warm-up season, no Olympic break, no easing into it. She had barely 2 weeks between carrying Iowa to a national title game and walking into WNBA training camp with the Indiana Fever, a franchise that had been struggling for years. But Caitlin didn't flinch. She thrived.
All they can think to do is infer, insinuate racism. Just claim racism. Ratings explode.
A lot of Caitlin Clark fans, and so many of them are not white. It's just insulting to assume that that's the case to the people that aren't white, to the Black Americans that do love Caitlin Clark.
Eaton Thomas contrasts how white Americans view the two based on stark differences in speaking out against racial injustice. Quote, perhaps it's because unlike Clark, Bueckers has always been outspoken about issues off the court, Thomas wrote in a Guardian article. At the 2021 ESPYs, Bueckers was named the College Athlete of the Year. She used her acceptance speech to celebrate and honor Black women in particular. In Bueckers' famous ESPYs speech, she used her platform to recognize those who didn't get the same recognition as her, specifically highlighting Black women. While Black America cheered Bueckers, it seemed like mainstream white America, a demographic once viewed her as, in her words, a media darling, weren't signaling out her praises. Is it a coincidence, or maybe because her injuries have made people forget her greatness as an athlete? But she's back from injury, and now why aren't people focused on Bueckers as they were Clark last year when she was tearing up college basketball? Maybe if Bueckers had delivered a more vanilla ESPY speech, things would be different. This is a completely embarrassing article. Caitlin Clark is a worldwide phenomenon whose playing style has drawn a level of hype that hasn't been seen in basketball in a decade.
She instantly became the face of the league. Attendance numbers exploded the moment she was drafted. Road games became sellouts overnight. Fever games went from half-empty gyms to packed arenas in every city. Networks fought for the rights to broadcast her games. And merch? Caitlyn's jersey became the top-selling jersey in the league, outselling every other player, veteran or rookie. Let's talk stats, because the numbers don't lie. Caitlin Clark led all rookies in scoring and led the entire league in assists as a rookie. That's something no player, not Diana Taurasi, not Sue Bird, not Maya Moore, has ever done in their first year. And she did it while being triple-teamed, fouled hard every night, and subjected to the kind of scrutiny usually reserved for NBA MVPs. The impact goes beyond the box score. Clark shattered the ceiling for trading cards, with her exclusive gold vinyl rookie card selling for $244,000.
There's another trading card that sold for an absurd amount of money. You'd have to pay $244,000 to have gotten that card.
An unheard of number in women's sports history. That's not hype. That's legacy. She's creating generational value for a league that, until recently, many sports fans didn't even pay attention to. And what's Paige Bueckers done in comparison? She's still waiting to play a game in the WNBA. She's got a solid college background, sure, but this isn't college anymore. This is the pro level, and the pressure is real. You don't get to step in with soft expectations and live off potential anymore.
The hate in Natalie Esquire heart is so strong, LOL. She said this in 4 different ways for absolutely no reason. NBC, at Indiana Fever. We don't want her covering America's team. Natalie Esquire said only one is super problematic, emo, in my experience, and based on listening to what has been said and reported on all year, it's a common theme. I only get harassed to endure racism, receive threatening emails, DMs from one fan base. So yes, it's one. It can apply in all of sports, but there is a notable difference in one fan base with respect to the W. This tweet said, no, it's one. It's not allegedly. This is my experience, and it only comes from a specific set of fans. So yes, for me, it's one fan base. You've already heard a player say in her career she's never experienced anything like this. Stop trying to violate our experience.
This is the Caitlin Clark era now. And Caitlin is setting a bar that nobody, not even the most hyped prospects like Paige, can casually walk over. And don't let anyone fool you. Caitlin hasn't been handed anything. If anything, she's been targeted, hit with hard fouls, subjected to flagrant reviews, ignored by referees when she gets elbowed in the face. All while haters like Natalie Esquire and other old guard media elites paint her fans as problematic and try to downplay her influence. But guess what? Caitlin doesn't cry about it. She gets up. She drains threes from the logo. She throws no-look dimes. She lifts her team. She silences arenas.
The second chapter of the Caitlin Clark era in the WNBA will commence soon. Clark established herself as a superstar in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever and will now lead a championship hopeful team into year 2. However, before the season begins, Clark was involved in a major news headline that featured a 6-figure price tag. Clark's edition of the 2024 Piani Prism WNBA Throwback Signatures Golden Vinyl card has been officially sold.
She's not just playing basketball, she's building a cultural phenomenon. And let's not forget, while Paige's WNBA debut game is struggling to sell out, Caitlin Clark sold out stadiums before she even played a professional minute. Before she even signed her WNBA contract, she was already the biggest star in women's basketball. She's the reason attendance is up. She's the reason ratings are booming. She's the reason sponsors are throwing money at the WNBA like never before. And the most powerful part? She did it all through performance, not politics. She didn't ride a media wave, she became the wave. And that's why Luka Doncic's comment matters so much. He didn't just say Caitlin Clark as his favorite player. He dismissed Paige Bueckers because, on the pro level, she hasn't proven anything. And she's stepping into a league that Caitlin has already transformed. Caitlin Clark isn't waiting to be accepted. She's not begging for attention. She is commanding it with every step, every pass, every game. She's not part of the future. She is the future. Luka Doncic didn't hold back, and neither should we. In just a few words, he told the truth that so many are afraid to say out loud. Caitlin Clark is the real deal, and no media spin can manufacture another version of her. The fake rivalry, it doesn't exist. Paige Bueckers has yet to play a WNBA game. Caitlin Clark has already changed the WNBA forever.
The light that I have now as a white woman who leads a Black-led sport and celebrated here, I want to show a light on Black women. They don't get the media coverage that they deserve. They've given so much to the sport and the community and society as a whole, and their value is undeniable. The WNBA last season, the postseason awards, 80% of the winners were Black, but they got half the coverage as the white athletes. So I think it's time for change. Sports media holds the key to storylines. Sports media and sponsors tell us who is valuable, and you have told the world that I matter today, and everyone who voted, thank you. But I think we should use this power together to also celebrate Black women.
Don't you realize these Black girls all paved the road that she's traveling, that these Black women built the WNBA, that these Black women carried women's basketball, and now all the racists love women's basketball because they're racist and they have Caitlin Clark. Just not true.
From record-shattering assists to sell-out arenas, from multi-million-dollar trading cards to unmatched influence,
There's another trading card that sold for an absurd amount of money. You'd have to pay $244,000 to have gotten that card.
Caitlin Clark has done what no one else could. She's brought everyone to the game, not with talk, not with politics, with pure, undeniable greatness. While the old guard clings to tired narratives, Caitlin is building something new, a future that doesn't need approval from gatekeepers. She's not part of the system. She rebuilt it. And that's why Luka shrugged at Paige and named Caitlin. Because real recognize real. So if you believe Caitlin Clark isn't just the face of women's basketball, but the force that's redefining it, hit that like button, share this video, and type CC 100% in the comments below. Let's show the world where the future of basketball really lives. She's not done. She's just getting started.